5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live on YouTube. And 3, 2, 1. Live on Facebook Live. Hello, I am Dan Salem. As I mentioned, I am on Facebook Live, and on YouTube, BuzzChomp channel, live. That is Buzz like the bee, B-U-Z-Z, chomp. We also have tons of great content, BuzzChomp.com. I'm going to tweet it out from BuzzChomp's Twitter and then retweet it on my own, The Dan Salem Twitter, so everyone and anyone who wants to join can find it easily across the social media spectrum. And I'm tweeting, and I'm tweeting, and I'm tweeting, and I'm tweeting. All right, there it goes. Oh, yeah. Oh, I also retweeted a hilarious comedy video about 420 because it's awesome. Okay, so it is Wildcard weekend. I'm Dan Salem here, talking sports, the NFL, and it's going to have a New York focus, but as you can see, I have redressed my set. I've got a Yankees hat because I'm a Yankees fan, and I got a Clippers hat because I'm following the Clippers, and that hat is pretty badass. We'll talk about those teams a little bit later for a split second, but it's the NFL, it is Wildcard weekend, and no one else cares anything about football. Because I'm from New York, the Giants are playing on Wildcard weekend. The Jets, lots of things going on with them, but I'm going to put that second today, returning for the new year from the holidays, because the better thing to talk about is the actual games being played, and that's the Wild Card weekend. There are 4 games coming up. I write for NFL Spin Zone tomorrow. I will be making my picks against the spread with my brother Todd Salem. And today I kind of had a post up, you can find it on the Dan Salem on Facebook, about the Packers and the Lions have their luck finally run out. So we'll start in the NFC there. The Lions face Seattle. They're going up to Seattle. I kind of think that they can win this first playoff game. I think they got it. I don't like the Seahawks this season at all. They've kind of continually played down to their competition. They haven't looked good. They haven't dominated at home. Now, if they turn it on, now's the time they're going to do it, and they're just going to smoke them. Because Detroit's been struggling. But they got a really good offense, and their defense is not half bad. This is like an even matchup. Against the spread, it's a no-brainer to go Detroit. I actually think that they can go up there and knock Seattle off, which would be awesome. Green Bay versus the Giants. Now, Giants fans constantly down on their team, down on themselves. I actually think New York's the better football team here. Green Bay's the hotter football team. They have won 5 or 6 in a row. They won their division. They are hot right now, and they're playing at home, so I get it. But there's something about the Giants in the playoffs. Eli Manning seems to always get it together. They have got a trio of dominating wide receivers, and I like the running backs despite the fact that the running game hasn't been great. I like their defensive line, and they've been stepping it up lately. This is 2 really even teams, and overall the better team is the Giants. Packers have been hotter the last couple weeks, but just 3 weeks ago the Giants beat the Cowboys. I think it was 3 weeks ago, only 2 weeks ago. So I mean, they got it. It's not just that they have the Cowboys number. They are a solid football team. I like the road teams in the NFC to start the wild card weekend. I like the Giants and I like Detroit, which means that New York would go to the Falcons and Detroit would go play for the Cowboys. And that's good. That's another two great matchups. I mean, I don't know if the Giants, they would really have to get their mojo together to beat the Falcons or to beat Dallas a 3rd straight time. But I think they can get out of wild card round 1 here. That's really the goal. I mean, I remember as a fan, it's been a long time as a Jets fan since we've made the playoffs. But then you make the playoffs, and then to lose in the wild card round is such a letdown. It's like you get so close, and then nothing happened. Winning that first playoff game is everything, because then it's like anything's possible, and it's like you feel like a real success on the season. You lose the first playoff game, and sure you made the playoffs, but your season's over so early, only 1 week later than everybody else. It doesn't quite feel as good as you would like. It just is a bit of a letdown. Which brings me to the AFC, where a couple of these teams might actually not be let down. So Miami plays Pittsburgh. Miami's the big underdog here, especially since they lost their quarterback. I actually think both teams are pretty even, but Pittsburgh's at home. I give them the edge to win. Miami's had a good year, even if they lose in round 1 here to the Steelers. But Pittsburgh would be horrified to lose this early. The other game is the Texans versus the Raiders. Now, the Raiders already feel like they've gotten the rug pulled out from underneath them. So everyone expects them to lose. So a win is amazing. Houston, I got to believe they're kind of happy to be here. They won their division, but that was such a tight division. And again, they weren't great, but they were better than the rest of their division and good enough. And their defense has been outstanding even without J.J. Watt. So they would be definitely disappointed to lose. The Raiders, everyone expects them to, so that's just kind of a surprise. My money's on the home teams in the AFC, Pittsburgh and Houston. I think that home field advantage is meaningful in these games. I think the defenses of the home teams are better, and I don't think that the away teams, the Dolphins and Raiders, their offense can do enough to win in round 1. Those are my picks. Mark them down. We'll read them tomorrow on NFL Spin Zone. I said it here first, live, BuzzChomp, and Facebook, Dan Salem, the Dan Salem Live. Okay. So, as a fan of the New York Jets, there's hot and heavy news to report. I was saying that Chan Gailey would be relieved of duties for about a month now. I figured he'd be the casualty of the season, first and foremost. Apparently, he told Todd Bowles, our New York Jets head coach, that he was going to retire after the year back in August. So, he was going no matter what. I got to believe if they went 10-6 again or made the playoffs that he would maybe be considering a return to action. But otherwise, I mean, they pulled him out of retirement to come do this job. So he had 2 years under the helm, one really good year, one forgettable season. Oh my God, I have a great quote from Brandon Marshall to tell you about this year in a second. But Gailey is retiring, which is much nicer than being fired. 5 other Jets assistant coaches were fired. I'm going to run through them here because this is a bit of a head scratcher in a couple departments for me. So I understand they got rid of the quarterbacks coach and the defensive line coach and the defensive backs coach. Those are kind of no-brainers. Quarterback play sucked. Defensive line underachieved. And the defensive backs grossly underachieved until about halfway through the season, and then they kind of rebounded, but the damage was already done. Now the other two, the running backs coach and the outside linebackers, I'm a little surprised about. I really felt like the linebackers came through and found some real solid goodness by the end of the season. Now perhaps I'm thinking linebacker and not separating linebacker, outside linebackers. They fired the O-line coach, or outside linebacker coach, I should say. And maybe that's the distinction. The outside backers obviously were the weakness of the backer core. But then running backs, I mean, both Forte and Bilal Powell had excellent seasons. Now, maybe because our running backs couldn't particularly stay healthy, he got the heave-ho, or because we're just redoing the whole offense and you let the coordinator hire his assistants, everyone got the boot. Regardless, I'm not surprised a bunch of guys let go, but maybe it must be more that they want the new OC coming in to bring in his own dudes, so that's why they got the heave-ho. Except they kept the wide receivers coach because our receivers are awesome and they're really developing those rookies exceptionally well. So nothing makes sense sometimes. So you know you've had a bad year when your former Pro Bowl receiver, Brandon Marshall, has an interesting analogy to describe this season. This would apply to pretty much every team that missed the playoffs, but especially the Jets with 11 losses. And I quote, "The best way I can describe it is having a diaper on and never changing it, and then just sitting in that diaper the whole year. That's how our year was. It was a bad year." That was courtesy of Showtime's Inside the NFL. Brandon Marshall was on the show. That is a quote. So he felt like this football season was, he pooped in his diaper week 1, and then he sat in that poopy diaper and continued to defecate in it for 16 more weeks. That is a terrible image. I hope you're not eating dinner because I just put it in your head. And wow. But I agree. Terrible year. I agree. The one good thing I can say about the Jets season, I'm going to have 5 highlights on BuzzChomp.com tomorrow. I'm going to struggle to find 5 highlights, but I'm going to find them. But one good thing, they did not fire Todd Bowles. I love that. You know, got to get continuity. He's only been with us 2 seasons. Got to keep some continuity and give a guy a shot to achieve. Other teams, not so much. Rex Ryan, gone after 2 years. Ooh, the Broncos, Gary Kubiak had to step down because of medical issues. That's a shame. Chargers have a vacancy. Jaguars have a vacancy. Hell, the 49ers only gave 1 year to Chip Kelly, and now he's out on his butt. Perhaps he'll come back as an offensive coordinator. Maybe he could work as a New York. Nah. Anyways, he'll find a job, probably not as a head coach next year. We have the 6th pick in the draft, the New York Jets. Because it's a New York focus, the Giants will have a later pick because they're in the playoffs. We have several unknowns all across the team, like many other teams. And we will be hot and heavy in the quarterback race once the season wraps up. I don't expect any of these top quarterbacks to go anywhere before the year finishes. Wildcard weekend. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. No games for my team. It's okay. Questions, comments, discussion points. Okay, so after the wild card weekend, you really get the real meat of the year. So let me first say, then I already said I think it'll be Falcons, Giants, Lions, Cowboys. I like the Cowboys, but I don't like them as much as I like the Falcons. I really think that it's going to be Falcons, Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. That's going to be exciting. I like the Cowboys to lose. I like the Falcons to make the Super Bowl this year out of the NFC. Now, depending on how the wild card weekend goes, if they're forced to play Green Bay, that changes things a little bit. I believe that can happen. Yes, it still could happen. If they're forced to play Seattle, because Seattle played really well, that changes things a bit. Over in the AFC, it's a little bit more straightforward because of the Patriots. Boo, Patriots. They have a home game, and they're really, really good at home. So, New England and Kansas City both get to play at home. If the home teams win this weekend, like I think, that puts Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Whew. And then New England gets Houston, which they could absolutely decimate Houston. If somehow Miami wins, then that's probably the team that could upset the Patriots the most, only because they know them so well. But Miami's not. I mean, the Patriots are going to the AFC Championship game. It's almost inconceivable that they don't. I also really like Kansas City. So while everyone likes to go on and wax poetic how the NFL is an open book and anybody can win anytime, sure, that is true. Yet the 4 top seeds in the 2 conferences this year, Dallas, Atlanta, New England, Kansas City, they are the 4 best teams in the league now that the Raiders kind of got dismissed and that the Seahawks can't keep things together. I don't see how those are not the 4 teams left standing. I really think it's going to be Kansas City, New England in the AFC Championship game. And while I would like to see the Chiefs overachieve and make the Super Bowl, I am picking a Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl, but I'm picking the Falcons to beat the Patriots. Okay. So I ran through all my picks just because I like to talk playoffs and they haven't started yet, and so this is the time to make your picks, get them documented here. Someone wrote poopy diaper. Oh, yeah, it's a poopy diaper. If you lose in round 1 of the wild card, that's like a poopy diaper too. I like to get them documented here live on multiple platforms. So when all of my premonitions come true, you can say, look, it's right there and it's documented. Oh, someone needs a bottle. Here, come here. Need help opening a wine bottle. I'm going to do this live. Oh, so sexy. Oh, what did you do? You butchered it. Oh. Pause for liquor. Oh, someone broke this wine cork into like 1,000,000 pieces. Oh. Making me look bad, Mandy. Broke this wine cork into like a million pieces. That's how you get cork in the bottle. No one likes that. And the wine is open. I am a master. It's documented. I'm a master. Okay. Other sports. I am a New Yorker, and I love my Yankees. I attempted to live stream about the Yankees this past season. It was very difficult because the season is freaking long as hell, and they were out of it by the All-Star break. So I didn't really know what to talk about because there wasn't much to say. They stunk. But it's the off-season. They have had some good hot stove stuff going on. They brought back Aroldis Chapman. That was fun. And I'm going to start talking more and more other sports and my personal rooting interests in them as a focus point as the NFL season winds down and there's less to discuss. So that means the Yankees is going to be heating up soon. There's a couple months away. I like what they've done in the offseason so far. I like that they got back Chapman. I like for the Cubs, though, that they didn't. And everyone's high on the Red Sox because they brought in an ace pitcher for sale from the White Sox. Yeah, they got a great staff. I don't think it's going to be enough for them. They're really going to miss David Ortiz in that lineup. I don't think it's going to be enough for them to dominate like everyone thinks. But it's the offseason. People like to say that crap right now. And then, over the NBA, I root for the Clippers out here in Los Angeles. They were having an exceptionally great start to the season. They've cooled off a bit around the holidays and post-Christmas. They snapped their losing streak recently. They will be in the playoffs. Likely the second, third, hopefully not as far down as the fourth seed in the West. But they had a secure spot on the second. I think they're like the third now. But those losses pile up quick. If they can end the year like they began the year, they have a shot at Golden State. But they got to get there first, and they have just not shown the consistency. Everyone's thinking Doc Rivers is going to get the boot. You know, if they fall short this season in the end of the year, that he's definitely getting the boot. I have a hard time seeing him get fired like 2/3 of the way through, but it's not unprecedented. The Cavaliers did it and then went on to win the championship. So that was what happened with Tyronn Lue, right? Or like he came in like earlier in the year, not this late. But Rivers is just kind of losing it. It's falling apart. He can't figure out how to get his team back on track, and I don't know. I want to see better things out of the Clippers. They are better than they've been of late. When I saw them play the Raptors, it was kind of like an ebb and a flow for them. They really just need to clamp down and, like, they have the defense to beat anybody, but sometimes their offense just goes cold, and they can't allow for that. It's too streaky. It's not winning formula. Okay, questions. It's been great. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had an exceptional holiday season. There is also something called the College Football Playoff going on. It's Alabama versus Clemson in a rematch of last year. I believe this game is going to be as close as last year, yet have a similar outcome in which the Crimson Tide win again. I would love to see Clemson take them down. Alabama's just so good, though. They are so good. So good. We've got one more week, a little less than a week till that goes down. By then we'll know our divisional round NFL matchups. And hopefully the Giants do not get eliminated in round one, because that's kind of just like a stab in the stomach and takes the season out from underneath you. And it's hard to leave with a positive taste in your mouth when you lose in round one of the playoffs. Like the Jets last year, going double digits with 10 victories and missing the postseason, losing the wildcard round is nearly as painful. Now, not quite as painful because you actually made the playoffs, but it's nearly as painful. Feel free to submit me questions on my Twitter at the Dan Salem all week long, and I will address them here live next Tuesday. I'm live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 Eastern, right during the happy hour on the Dan Salem Facebook Live, BuzzChomp over on YouTube. I'm going to be launching a new YouTube channel here soon, so you stay tuned for details. We got lots of great stuff coming from Pillow Talk TV, BuzzChomp this year, Dan Salem, Mandy Mellon. Got legal weed here in California. Might be getting in on that action. All right, I'm being back next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live, Facebook Live, Dan Salem, BuzzChomp, YouTube, at the Dan Salem on Twitter. Thank you guys. You're awesome, and I'm signing off. Good night.